y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing today, Jacob?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. How about you, Landon? How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Good.
It's good to be back doing this podcasting stuff.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jacob, are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, perfect. So, I start out with like the background questions. So, my first question to you is, how did you get to where you are today?
A lot of hard work. Having my dad, play quarterback for college and then having him support me and coach me throughout my career, that's definitely been the main thing. So,
What
helped me get to college football now for me. So,
yeah. What athletes did you look up to growing up? It can be different from football too.
I say football would be Patrick Mahomes. I think I see a lot. I see a lot of myself in him, just because throwing on the run. He's just a really good quarterback. I mean, who doesn't look at him? And then basketball, Devin Booker's my guy. He's definitely somebody I like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the two.
So, you talked about your dad. I mean, we've had him on. Growing up, did you feel pressure at all with, your dad having a bigger name in Kentucky with being quarterback?
Yeah, not necessarily. I say the more annoying thing would be like people always like joking around about it and everything, like teammates and stuff. But other than that, I kind of I'm making my own name right now, so I don't feel any pressure. I think because I know he's happy too. He's not so as long as he's happy, I'm happy. Family's happy, I'm good. So.
What role did he play in the recruitment process?
My recruitment was actually very different. Like, people thought it was very, getting offers from Kentucky and UKU, and those things didn't pan out. So it was a very tough process for me. And I'm playing football. He's emailing coaches. We're doing it together, but he's doing a lot of, research on how to email and reach out. He definitely helped a lot in that aspect. So it was good happening.
Mm-hmm. So, you played, I know that with your dad playing football, and you being good at that, was a big factor, but, me knowing you personally, you played many different sports in high school and middle school. Was it a very tough decision to, narrow it down?
No, because baseball was always a sport that I was always iffy about if I liked it or not. Dad loved it, and he's probably the reason I even played as long as I did. And then, I came junior year, I knew football was my love, so I kind of gave up basketball that year, ran track for football. And then senior year, I was like, it's my last year, so I'm going to enjoy basketball one more time. But it's always been football for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite moment with football at West Chespin, or even Henry Clay if you had one?
Henry Clay was definitely when we came back and won in our championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And then West, we won a playoff game at Collins. That was a really fun game. I'd say that was one of my favorite games. Also, Bourbon my senior year.
Mm-hmm. Landon, we'll go over to you.
Okay. So for those that don't know, Jacob is a quarterback going to Grambling State, which is an HBCU. So what does it mean to play for an HBCU, and why did you choose them over the likes of Kentucky and some of your other schools?
They showed me the most love, and it was real when I came here. They weren't trying to, they weren't babying me and showing me a fake version of themselves. They were real. And it's a blessing to be able to play for a team like this. And, Hugh Jackson, a former NFL coach, I couldn't ask for anything else. So it's a blessing.
And so Turner brought this up. You played basketball. You said you did track and field as well. A big topic of conversation nowadays between parents and their kids is whether or not they should specialize in one sport or be a multi-sport athlete. Why did you choose to do multiple sports and not just stick to football all the way through?
It would have been too hard for me to just give up sports. And when you're younger, you can't get recruited for football till your junior year. So you never know where life is going to take you. So. But junior year, that's when I did give up basketball, and I ran track. I think if you play football, you should run track anyways. So if I were to go back and do it, I would actually give up basketball and run track throughout high school and football. So.
Would you say you'd give that kind of advice to other kids that are looking at that avenue as well?
If they wanted to make it in football and that's what they want to do 100%, then yes, they should definitely run track and play football and keep it at that. Just because, I got injured my last basketball game my senior year, and it was a really bad injury, and they could have done that their junior year when it's really important to get recruited because that's your best year to get recruited, and there goes football.
So you mentioned that as a football player, you can't get recruited to your junior year. And your dad mentioned the last time we talked to him that as a quarterback, it's a lot harder as far as recruiting because they don't take as many quarterbacks. So did you see that in your recruitment as far as your process went?
Yes, definitely. Especially now with the transfer portal and COVID was kind of affected me too because everybody gets an extra year. It was definitely a very slow process. I didn't have a true Division I offer until February of my senior year when a lot of kids are committing junior year. So it was a very long process for me.
All right. And have you moved into Grambling State yet?
I have. I've been here for a week.
Okay, so can you kind of talk about the process of that and also what your transition from high school to college has been and if your dad has given you any tips to help you with that?
It's been an easy process just because I moved in. They gave me a couple of days of, no football, just get situated, figure out class and everything. And today it was Tuesday. It was our first day of conditioning and working out, and it is a different level compared to high school. It is different. It's very tiring. Today was my first upper body day, and I'm ready to just go to sleep.
Got it. All right, Turner, I'll give it back to you.
So you talked about Coach Hugh Jackson with being with the NFL. With you being an NFL fan, was that kind of surprising that an NFL coach wanted to recruit you?
Super surprising, and when I found out, I was like, it was nothing but smiles, and my dad was smiling. It was awesome, and it's an opportunity that I would never just throw away. So I'm blessed to be here and blessed to get moving with them.
Mm-hmm. Your dad had a good thought about this. What do you think about the current stance of NIL?
I think it's I like it, but I don't. I don't like that they're paying kids to just go to the schools, because there's ways around it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're on the field, you're performing, you're doing what you're supposed to do, I think that's when kids should be allowed to get their money that they're worth.
Do you have a favorite moment watching football?
Let's see here. That's a good question. I don't think I do because, my Packers have been doing a little bad in the NFC Championship and everything, so it'd be nice to see them get a Super Bowl here soon, but no, I don't think I have a favorite moment.
Mm-hmm. So, with you playing football throughout the years, there's a lot of people that will say stuff like the lifting too early stunts your growth and a lot of other either facts or myths. What do you think about all that?
I think that there's things that you can do. I wouldn't necessarily say go in 7th grade and just do bench press and squat and mess everything up, but I think that there's things that you can do like band work. Like in middle school, you can do band work, super light weights, get the smaller muscles stronger, the little muscles stronger, and then once you hit high school, I think that's when it's go time. And middle school you can work on form, stuff like that, and then when high school hits, that's when it's go time. That's when you need to get stronger because you could start as a freshman playing against 18-year-olds, and your body might not be ready. So I think in high school, that's when you for sure hit the weight room.
Mm-hmm. So I know that you went to middle school at West, but then you went to Henry Clay for the first year. How was how's the transfer process in high school going from West to Henry Clay back to West?
It wasn't too bad because I was so young and I hadn't had any varsity experience, because that's when you kind of have to maybe sit out a year and stuff. But it's just kind of little different cultures, but other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm. So all three of us on this call have transferred at one point in high school. With high school sports, like with having different transfer rules over the years, and it's just like it seems like the rules are getting less and less, and it seems like people are now like enrolling as non-residents. What do you think about that?
Is that where they like aren't in the district?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about just being able to transfer wherever you want to go, just because they're just going to build these super teams,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to have these teams out here that can't compete. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all that.
Yeah.
I think maybe one transfer, and that's your only free one. But even that's still, I don't know. Because there's also kids who can't move houses because they can't afford it or something, and they might be in a terrible situation. I think it just depends. I think it's a very slippery slope.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of your favorite players to watch nowadays?
Patrick Mahomes for sure. I like watching C.J. Stroud a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna have Bryce Young. I think he was hated on a lot. I can't wait to see what he does. Even guys like Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. Kind of like watching. I like watching everybody. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
It's good just to learn things from different people, and not just watching one certain person.
Yeah. Whenever you are watching these guys, do you ever try to like mimic with like quarterbacks? Do you try to mimic like their throws, or do you like take like mental notes whenever you're watching ever?
Definitely, I like to, because like watching multiple quarterbacks, like I'm never gonna throw the exact same as whoever. But if I'm watching little things and I'm like, oh, I compare to that, so maybe I should look up drills that he does that I could do, since we're kind of the same in that aspect. So I definitely do things like that.
Mm-hmm. Did your dad have you ever watching like film of like older quarterbacks too?
He never really got too far back then, just because mechanics have changed so much,
Mm-hmm.
and there's newer workouts and everything, and
Yeah.
newer mechanics are a lot better. But watching the older quarterbacks who are maybe retiring soon or have just not retired, like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers,
Mm-hmm.
those are great ones to look at. Patrick Mahomes when it comes to certain things. So those are the guys he kind of teaches me off of.
Yeah. Landon, go back to you.
So looking back on your recruiting process, can you kind of go over like what was the fun parts about it and what were the stressful parts about it?
Stressful were definitely senior year, when things weren't really going my way, and just having to go out there and be the quarterback of the team. Maybe senior year I was thinking I might not. Hold on. Senior year I was thinking that I might not have an opportunity to play college football, and that was definitely going through my mind, and just being able to overcome that. But the fun parts were definitely like the non-stressful things. I mean, doing visits, taking pictures in the uniform, stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm going to give you a date, and you're going to let me know if you recognize this. September 9th of this year.
The LSU.
Yeah, so Grambling State going down to LSU. What are you looking forward to as far as getting that opportunity to showcase your skills on the big stage?
That would be a great opportunity if I got that opportunity. And everybody's like, we're a smaller school. Everybody's just going to expect us to just go out there and just accept defeat, get whooped. But I want to go out there, compete, beat them. Because, if we beat them, then that means you got NFL scouts looking at our team. And, that's the next goal, is getting to the, being able to go to the combine and perform in front of dudes like that. So That's my mindset going into that game.
Yeah, and you bring up NFL scouts, so you know the man Deion Sanders, right?
Yes.
All right, so Deion was brought to Jackson State to take over and bring them back up as a program, and he paved the way for HBCU players to succeed and make it to that next level. So what are kind of your goals and your aspirations you have over the next 4 years?
I'd say one of my first goals right now is just getting stronger, smarter, understanding my offense because, I'm new to everything. Becoming a starter, then performing. So I'm going to just set little goals for myself and then get to that main goal, which is getting to the combine, hopefully.
So you were once a young kid, always had that dream to play college football. So if there's anyone out there listening that was at your age and they want to go play college football as a quarterback, what are some tips you would give them? Things to work on, tendencies to look over, things like that.
I say definitely with quarterback, it's all mental. Just to keep your head in the game. When you're struggling, don't just quit and give up and switch positions. Because, look at Lamar Jackson. They wanted him to be a receiver, and now he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So there's just mentally, you have to be really strong as a quarterback mentally. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do it because you can.
Tony, I'll turn it back to you.
Jacob, what age were you whenever reading playbooks came easier to you?
Ooh, I'd say going into senior year. I think that's when I kind of understood, figured out my way of studying, understanding playbooks. Because when you're in middle school, you're not reading a playbook. You're just remembering plays.
Right.
If you're a middle schooler now, I'd say definitely teach yourself to do that because you're going to need it when you get older. Sophomore year, I was just kind of thrown into the fire. I had a really good receiver, so that helped me a lot. Junior year, that's when I was like, okay, I need to start understanding the playbook. And then going into senior year, that's when I started understanding it. I could call plays on my own. That's when it was definitely the best for me.
What advice would you give to young quarterbacks on how to try to understand it kind of quicker if they need to?
Figure out your way. Honestly, just figuring out your way of studying. I have right here on my desk a bunch of flashcards. It says the formation on the back of it. It has the drawing of the formation. I just get a little whiteboard, draw the formation, check and make sure I'm right, and that's my way of doing it. And I guess just finding your way and sticking to it.
So, I usually ask this question to any athlete. And it's kind of harder with football just because there's so many rules in general. But would you like to see any changes to any level of football?
If you want my honest opinion, I think the only thing that the big thing, with the college, I think this NIL stuff is getting a little out of hand. Just paying kids to go to the school, I don't think that's the right way of doing it. I think you have to earn that money. And then with NFL, I think they are getting a little too soft with the quarterbacks. Just not being able to land on them and stuff. I get it, but I don't agree with all the rules. Surprisingly, coming from a quarterback, I don't.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Some of the calls are a little too. Because I just don't want to. It doesn't need to turn into two-hand touch.
Right.
It's football, and I get the safety and everything. And quarterbacks are worth so much, but there's just certain rules that I just don't agree with.
So, you played baseball and basketball. Would you like to see any changes to any levels of those sports too?
Baseball, I like the pitch clock. I think because being a baseball player, it was way too slow for me, which is why I didn't play. Basketball, I don't know. I think basketball is pretty much it is what it is. I think the only thing that's kind of out of hand is the flopping, but other than that, but there's rules for that now. You flop, you get fined and stuff. So technical foul. So I think those sports are good.
So with you being a part basketball guy, this is always a debate question. So LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Did your dad influence you with that, or?
No, that's all me. Going 6-0 in the finals, that kind of says it all right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I get you've been to the finals so many times for LeBron, but you've also lost. I mean,
Right.
but LeBron's definitely up there. I mean, LeBron is definitely the number 2, no doubt.
Yeah.
LeBron's the king. Jordan's the GOAT.
So, whenever, I mean, do you watch, like, because with basketball, you know, there's the Ball is Live stuff and all the highlights. Do you watch, like, the IMGs and all, like, the high school, like, football stuff a lot?
I did. I kind of would keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really been big on social media, so
Yeah.
I kind of watch like local kids to see what's going on. Maybe kids I'm getting recruited. Like if I saw somebody was getting recruited from a school that I was getting recruited from, I kind of go watch their film and see if they're really good or not. But other than that, I never really got too much into that. Just because nowadays anybody can pay to be on Ball is Live, so you don't really know if they're actually good or not.
Well, the reason I asked that is because a couple years ago there was a fake school called Bishop Sycamore. Do you remember that name?
Yeah, yes. And they play, who'd they play?
I think they played IMG.
IMG, yeah. And they, weren't they all like JUCO dudes and older?
JUCO dudes and older, and the coach got arrested the next day or something like that. It was
good, yeah. I don't understand how they even allowed that to happen. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah. With I mean, prime example here, the Lexington Christian quarterback, Cutter Boley, he just reclassified and is gonna go to Kentucky after this year. What do you think about the reclassification stuff?
I think it's kids need it just because you can have younger people who are in a grade. Like me, I've always been a young football player. Like I didn't turn 18 till after my senior year, and I'm going against kids who are 18, 19, and I mean 6 months. That's a lot of time to get your body right. So I think the kids. I don't mind the holdbacks and everything.
Landon, we'll go back to you.
Yeah. So one of my favorite questions that I was ever asked was, what is my why? So I guess kind of what is your why for why you want to play football?
That's a really good question. I never even. I guess just, one of the things is getting a free education, and even if football doesn't work out, I'll walk out of college with no debt if everything goes as planned. And that's a really big thing, and just, doing what I love. I mean, I could play football for the next 10 years and be happy, super happy, and if I make it to the NFL, that'd just be a blessing, and then I'd be getting paid big money. So I guess that's my why.
So I know all of us as athletes, we all want to portray ourselves as the best thing out there, but honestly, that's not true. We've all had bad performances. So what is the worst performance you can remember as an athlete, and how did you learn from that?
I have two. One was, actually, it was the same team. Madison Southern, sophomore year, I threw 4 picks in a game. And then I played them again senior year right after some recruitment thing happened, and my head was just not in it. And I didn't have any bad picks or anything, but I was just so out of it that I wasn't making the right reads, wasn't making the right plays. So those are definitely against the same team, both at their place too. Those are my 2 worst performances.
Would you say that the game where you threw 4 picks kind of got in your head for that game in your senior year as well?
No, just because the 4 picks one was sophomore year.
I got you.
So that was sophomore year, and then senior year we played them again at their place. The sophomore year one, I didn't understand their defense. That was back when I was just kind of going out there, and they were a decent team to where you would need to understand them a little bit to beat them. And I threw 2 picks, and I think I was just so young, I didn't know how to overcome that, and I just kept doing me. And then senior year, I had a recruitment thing happen like a day before the game, and I was super upset about it, and mentally I was just not prepared for that game. Wasn't wasn't making the right reads. I was just too much in my head, which we would have beat them if I wasn't, but it was just a really bad performance.
Got it. So kind of give us like a look at you pre-game and post-game. Are there any routines that you do before every game?
I guess post-game, definitely not. Definitely just getting home, taking a shower, and going to bed. I say that's every football player. Maybe a little ice bath. Pre-game, I don't really have a certain routine. I like to warm up a certain way, like doing drills. But other than that, I kind of just do what I got to do and get out there.
So for those that aren't too caught up with Grambling and what you guys are going to look like this year, can you kind of give us like an in-depth look at what you're expecting from your team this year?
I'm not even going to lie. I have no idea, but from what I've been hearing, people need to watch out because I think we're getting our things together because last year they struggled a little bit, but we're getting a lot of transfers in. Because I've only been here for a week, and all we've done is condition and lift. Like, we haven't been out in the field and done anything. But from what I see, dudes are in shape. It's going to be a fun year this year, I think.
Yeah. So college sports can be taxing on your body and everything, so sometimes you're going to want to give yourself a break. So what are some hobbies outside of sports that you like to participate in?
Right before I left, I got into hunting a little bit. I want to get into fishing. I haven't done that since like 7th grade, and I would love to get into some fishing.
Love fishing.
Yes, I definitely want to do that. Cooking, that's my thing. So the reason I like to hunt is I like to kill it and eat it.
Exactly.
Fishing, I want to learn how to like fillet a fish. That's my main thing. So I want to like catch a fish and fillet it. I'd say those are my little hobbies right there. Xbox here and there.
I got you. All right, Turner, I'll give it back to you.
So, you've been starting quarterback for a number of years. What, and I know that there haven't been any games yet, but has it been tough, has it been a tough pill to swallow that that you may not start this year?
No, just because, right now we're still in the summer, so we have no idea what's going to happen. And I'm not going to allow that to just be, I'm a freshman. I have to put that in perspective.
Right.
This isn't high school where it's, there's one person per position. There's not much depth. I'm in college now. I'm surrounded by 80 dudes who love football, who were just as good as me in high school, if not better. So it's definitely going to be, it'll be good, as a freshman, if somebody starts over me, it'll be good learning from them, learning from their mistakes, so then when I have the chance, I'm not going to do the same thing.
With guys, guys are definitely bigger in college than they are in high school. Was that like some of the size of the dudes that you've been working out with, was it eye-opening?
Yes, for sure. I used to be really big in the gym. I was always one of the bigger ones, pound for pound. And now I get over here and I'm like one of the little ones when it comes to weights and everything. So once I get into things, I'll be good. But you can definitely see a difference from young adults to grown. Everybody's grown now.
Mm-hmm. I know that you all are in your off-season stuff, but outside of your team, what is a typical off-season regimen for you?
What's the off-season what?
Regiment, what you do, to prepare, or even just, rest days, even.
I think, honestly, when you're not, especially now in college, I can see it, I have the schedule and everything, those days you have off, you're going to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, right now we're going 5 weeks hard, and then we get, a 5-day break, and I'm only in day, 3, and I'm already just ready to go home and go to sleep. So when I get that 5-day break, I'm definitely just going to be going back to Kentucky, chilling, training. I'm still going to lift and everything, keep in shape, but I'm going to enjoy it.
What would you do in the off seasons before a West Jessamine season?
Honestly, that's in the summertime. That's when all the camps are. So I'm getting my body right, running a lot, going to camps, which are tiring, traveling to the camp. So that was my off seasons all the time.
What were some of your favorite camps that you went to?
FSU was definitely one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see here, what else did I go? Austin P was a really well ran camp. I think those are the two. Yeah, those are my two favorites probably.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to so many that I'm probably forgetting somebody. And Miami of Ohio, just because my best running time was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was feeling myself.
Yeah. When going to all these, like, how do you get your mind locked in and not have a nervousness / like jaw-dropping moment at like these Division I schools?
Honestly, at these camps, when I went to them, I was always nervous. I lost offers. I didn't lose offers, but I would have gotten an offer if I would have just performed at certain camps, and some of them I just laid an egg. So summers were definitely tough for me just because I'd go to these camps for some reason and I just would not perform to my best.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were to see me in the camps and then look at my like high school film, you would be like, that's two completely different people.
Yeah.
So that was my camp experience.
This is a little different question for you, but what kind of pregame music do you listen to?
Young boy.
Just Young Boy?
Young boy. That's my guy. Mm-hmm.
If I mean, whenever you try to like, I mean, are you wanting to pursue the NFL if you have the opportunity?
Sure. If the opportunity, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, that's not figured, but would you have a preference on where, like, I mean, best case scenario, like, where would you want to get drafted to?
Honestly, anywhere warm. That's my thing. Like the Packers are my favorite team, but I'd never want to play there.
Yeah.
Just because it's so cold. Tampa, Houston, Arizona, Cardinals. Yeah, teams like that. I can do anything warm. If it's warm, I'm good. I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the NFL doing more like world game stuff, like going to like to London and stuff like that?
I think it's gonna be dope. Just because you're expanding your fans and everything, and you might even see more people coming from those countries to play in the NFL. So I think it's a super good thing that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Have there ever been any, like, I mean, they could be NFL players, coaches, or even just celebrities in general that you've just like kind of had like a fanboy moment over, like in your head?
Let's see here. There was one time, Tyler Hero, who was it? What was his name? P.J. Washington and another Kentucky basketball player. I got a picture with them. And it's crazy because, like, those two are in the NBA, and I always look back at it, and I'm like, yeah, I got a picture with them back when they were in college. And then I also have a signature from Devin Booker, who's my favorite NBA player, just because of that. Because I always respect people who do things like that. Because I've also been in a situation where I asked a player for a signature, and they didn't give it to me. And then, one of the rich donors comes in and asks for a signature, and they give it to him.
Yeah.
And this is like I'm on like a visit. Like it's not like I'm around a million people. Like I'm in the locker room. Like, and I always look at that and I'm like, wow, like that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I always respect the people who do take the time out of their day and do the little things.
Mm-hmm. Whenever going on these visits, did you take like a good like look at like the facilities of all of them?
Yes.
Is that a big factor?
Honestly, no. Just because I like my biggest factor was just truth and honesty. I could care less what the facilities look like. I want a coach that's going to keep it real, not lie to me, and be the best for me, because you can go to the school with the best facilities, and then when you get there, they treat you like crap, and you're never going to get your opportunity. So I just went where truth and honesty was always what I looked for.
Mm-hmm. So whenever you're trying to prepare your body and like stuff for an opportunity like you are given now, did you like have a strict diet at all, or did you just eat whatever?
I've always been a pretty healthy eater. I'm pretty good about eating. I always go when it starts to get serious. I do water only, so I don't drink soda, tea, any of that. And I'll have like a Powerade or something here and there. But other than that, I won't drink any sodas or anything.
You ever thought about what NIL opportunities that you would want, like in an ideal situation?
Honestly, no, just because I don't even really understand truly how it works, because there's like things you have to do, which my dad and his dad are doing research on it, and they're helping me with it. Just because I'm so busy right now, that's not something I want to worry about right now.
Yeah.
Just because I'm in a smaller school, so honestly speaking, there's not very many opportunities with the NIL.
Right.
So it would come like the bigger schools, yeah, you're gonna get your NIL money, but like smaller schools like this, I'm not even worried about it, because if there is an opportunity, especially for me, not being named the starter or anything, I'm an incoming freshman, I'm not going to get anything, so I have to go out first. What I need to do first is go out there and let people know who I am. I need to become a starter, and then that's when I'll start digging into the NIL money.
Yeah. Back to you, Landon.
I didn't have any more questions left, and then you brought up Young Boy, and my head went straight to John Morant.
I'm not John Morant, though.
I know, but do you want to kind of give, like, what your thoughts about the whole situation?
I think people are making it bigger than what it is, because it's not illegal to own a gun. Dude, he is a celebrity. He doesn't need to be flashing it on Instagram, and I get this is his second time doing it. And I'm hoping that he doesn't do it again, but I don't think people should just be, being so down on him just because he owned a gun, because you also have, almost everybody owns a gun nowadays. So, yeah, he just needs to be smarter with what he does, especially he's making so much money. There's no reason for him to be flashing a gun around. But, I get it, though. That Young Boy music makes you want to do it.
Yeah, and for you being a college athlete, how big is it to be conscious of what you're putting on social media and the things you're doing and things you're posting and stuff like that?
Super, because everybody tries to find a way to hate on you, to bring you down, to discredit you, especially being a quarterback. I can't make any mistake like that. If I make a mistake like that in college, especially, I'm done. Like, there's no coming back from that, just because quarterbacks are never given a second chance.
Yeah, and I've seen some people decide to, turn social media off during the season and things like that. Cross your mind?
I'm honestly not even big on social media in general. Like, I'm never on it. I'm on Snapchat just to keep up with friends and everything, but I never go through stories or anything. I never post anything. I am going to get on Instagram, though. Just like, if my Twitter was just strictly football, you scroll through anything, you'll never see anything except football, like promoting myself. And then I'm going to start using Instagram just to help me with, like, NIL. Like, I'll have to post just because they want guys who a lot of people know. So I have to get my name out there, but I don't use it for, posting my business or anything.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any more questions, but I just want to say, as a freshman going to college, that you've been a very mature man. No one would ever know what your age is or what year you're going into college. You've been a great interview, I will say.
Thank you.
My last question, it's kind of a question, but do you have any advice for, I know that you've given advice already, but do you have any advice or anything else that you want to say to finish it off?
Honestly, no. Just, my main thing is just the mental aspect of the game. And just, like, when I was going through those camps and struggling, like, never give up. You might not be a camp player. Just go show it on the field. Like, you can have a bad game, be better in the next one. So that's my main thing with quarterbacks. It's mental, because you might not be the most athletic, but you can have a great arm. You can not have the best arm, but be super athletic and make it. So there's no excuse other than just being strong mentally.
Well, Jacob, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll let you go.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, see you.
All right, see you.